And welcome back to Chaotic Good Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Kate.
And I'm your co-host, Nate, and today we're talking D&D.
D&D. Dungeons and Dragons.
Role-playing with your friends. Awkward.
So,
That's my whole theme. It's my shtick.
for those who may or may not be in the know, Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game that was created in the 80s, if I'm right.
Farther back.
Farther back? It's older than the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then maybe you need to give the history lesson.
Well, it was created by a guy named Gary Gygax in the 70s. The first edition, I mean, that one lasted quite a long time. But some of that, like the Satanic Panic in the 80s, picked up on this tiny little game because of the monsters or the fact that there's people that use or characters that use magic. So it's witchcraft. It's satanic. Oh no.
No.
Yeah, it's like no. There's more weird magical stuff happening in like the Harry Potter universe than in the original D&D. Like, I mean, it was
people
negligible.
still for like avoiding Harry Potter too.
I mean, still, yeah. I mean, for a lot of different reasons now today, but
yeah,
yeah,
not
that's a
getting into
whole
that.
other thing.
It's a whole other beast.
It is. But no, it did. It just started off as just a simple one book role playing game. With the DM that kind of ran the game and told the background and directed stuff for the players. And, the players just rolled dice and role played out whatever character they were in whatever scenario that was set up.
Okay.
Throughout, if you want to go through a little bit more history, there's been online games, there's been multiple movies, lots of different books, both inspired by and directly related to D&D, the brand. Just it blew up really big in the 80s and early 90s. I feel like it did have quite a bit of period of time where after that it was quiet than the people that have been playing for a long time. And then, during COVID, it seemed to really, really blow up again. But I mean, what better way to connect with people than through a game like that?
Sure. I'd even argue that it started to blow up again a little before COVID, because of Stranger Things.
I mean, that's fair. That really did have a big inspiration on bringing a lot of older players that hadn't been in it for a while to come back, as well as a lot of new people that were just unfamiliar with tabletop games in general.
Yeah, for sure. That was kind of my introduction to D&D, was seeing it played out in Stranger Things.
Okay.
And then a couple years later, I was introduced to it by a group of friends through an ex, and they got a pretty decent sized group of people together. I want to say like 8 or 9 people.
Yeah, it's a good
And
size group.
nobody really knew how to play, or either they didn't know how to play, or they just weren't into the character role playing part of it. And I have a feeling that if we had picked more theater kids to play with us, it would have gone a lot better.
Yeah,
But
theater kids, best role players ever, I swear.
I mean, truly, that's what they live for. But since you are a very well-seasoned DM, maybe you could guide me through what a typical game night would look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a little bit different for the person running the game versus the players. The person
Yeah.
running the game, DM, the dungeon master, they set it up. So like I have a shield. It has, it's like a folder shield, having, all sides of me covered because I have charts all in there. For anything that might pop up, any treasure finds, any random, player or NPC that you want to come across, any random animals or whatever thing you want to go and do, I have stats ready to go, so I can just roll a couple of dice that correlate with the chart to help me just randomize something, so it doesn't feel like we have to stop if I get put on the spot. Um, and then as far as players are concerned, that's getting out your character sheet, making sure you've got your drinks or your snacks because we're going to be there. I'd say an average game lasts 2 to 4 hours. Um,
Yeah.
so you'll want to have something there. You don't want to go 4 hours without taking a sip of water, and especially not if you're talking so much. Dry throat city. Um, Also, everybody's getting out their dice towers or their whatever they're going to roll in if they've brought something, getting their dice ready. Uh, for myself, I've got a bag of like over 500 dice. So depending on
Jeez.
right, depending on what the session theme is for the night, I like to pick out dice that match the vibe of the theme.
Okay.
But
Very cool. What are the differences between all of the different dice?
well, you've got it's gonna sound weird, D2 all the way up through D20. D2 is basically flipping a coin. It's really rare
Makes
instances,
sense.
but for some reason the books always say roll a D2. It's like, sure. Oh.
Tip it over.
Exactly. There's D3, which look like a log. Again, that's a really weird one. D2s are mostly for like an if or that chance, this or that, sorry, kind of a chance thing. 3 are used for very certain damage dice for small, like insect type creatures. They really don't, they don't really do much damage, but that's about all those are used for. Then you've got your D4, D6, D10, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, your D20, and then if by chance you might need it, there is technically a D100. It's a percentage dice. So it's two D10s. One's
Okay.
single digit and one's the double digit.
Okay.
So a tens
Okay. Because
place
I
and
was trying
six.
to picture that, and I was like, "Isn't that just a marble? It's got
Basically.
100 sides."
Yeah, pretty much it would look like a very giant sized marble, but no, it's just two D10s. One's a 20 or, one is, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, so on. And the other is just one,
Yeah.
two, three, four, five.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So, you've said you've been a DM many times before, and then
Yep.
there's characters, the other players in the game. Explain what a DM is, and then maybe getting into like what would make a good character for
Yeah,
someone to like write a character into the game.
absolutely. Those are really, really good questions. So a DM, Dungeon Master, basically your job as that is to write up a scenario and create NPCs or non-player characters that you yourself would play out, play act for the characters. I love doing sound effects, different voices. I mean, you name it. But the more I get into the characters, the more the story can come to life for the players. And that's a lot of fun can be had in that. I love doing that. It's, seeing people's reactions to different characters' voices or weird sounds going on. It's all part of the fun. Um, but really, I just need to set up a scenario that the players themselves can tell the story within. Like, here's the setting, here's your place, your time, what's around you. And then, the players decide where to go, what to do, who to talk to, the whole works. Yes, I do have like a general story arc there happening.
Mm.
But if the players choose to engage in that or it happens in the background and then whatever consequences of them not confronting that story happens, well, then that happens.
Side quest.
Exactly, exactly. And while everyone's running around looking for the crystal cave or something, the big bad guy is over here, you know, oppressing their allies or taking over countries little by little or amassing an army or something. And they're just over here like la di da di da. There's no consequences. Oh, there's consequences.
God forbid they run into a mimic.
Oh, those are fun. I gotta tell you, I did have one session where everything in the mansion that they were exploring was either a mimic or something called like living armor, where it's just an empty suit of armor that's enchanted to attack anything that comes within a radius. So it doesn't really die; you just kind of crush it or remove the magic. Uh, so that was a
Great.
lot of fun. Like even the carpets were mimics, so they'd walk over a carpet and some would get gobbled up for.
Oh no.
Right. And for those of you not
That'd be
quite
terrible.
understanding, mimics are creatures that can look exactly like anything. Can look like most commonly used as treasure chests, but they can look
Hmm.
like a door, they can look like a chair, a plate, a fork, anything. It can look like, a suit of armor. So then you put on the armor, and all of a sudden now you're getting ate by your own armor. Like it can be just about anything. Even technically, even a dead body of any kind of creature can count as a mimic
Ew.
being able. Yeah, so you go to examine the dead prince that you're supposed to be saving, and it turns out it's not the dead prince. You're just gonna get eat. So
Yeah, when I said that, all I could picture was Free Run. Have you seen it?
yes,
Yeah,
yep,
her getting gobbled up by every treasure chest. She's like,
yep.
"This isn't a mimic. I gotta see what's inside."
How
And then she gets eaten.
you have the little
Yeah.
legs kicking out.
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much. Pretty much. So, let's say that, well, I mean, we're gonna be starting a campaign here any soon, and I'm trying to build a character.
yes.
Um, Walk us through like the differences between class, race, backstory, special abilities, stuff like that.
Absolutely. So the difference between class and race, I would say, is class is what you're trained in. Um,
Mhm.
like, are you trained in, using a lot of different weaponry and wearing heavy armor? Or are you trained in more like, a priesthood or like a monk, where you really don't have any possessions other than what you wear? There's, are you trained in magic where you just sit there and study old tomes all day? Uh, so there's a bunch of classes. The main ones in the player's handbook um, are bard, which is any kind of entertainer, a
Mhm.
barbarian, which I mean most people know what a barbarian is. Oh, big dumb Hulk, I smash things. um, you've got druids, which are magical, like nature mages, essentially.
Okay.
You have wizards, sorcerers, and warlocks, which are all other magic users. They just get magic from their different sources. Like one studies,
Mhm.
one makes a pact with some powerful entity that gives them power. Another one's just born with magic innately. Um, you've
Mhm.
got your paladins, your clerics, fighter, rogue, uh, and that's really the main core. And as far as races are concerned, that's describing like what species your character is. Are they human? Are they an orc or half orc rather? Are they an elf? Um, a dwarf, a halfling. Some people might know as a hobbit from Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
Just or half man, I guess sometimes they're called in other pop culture. Um,
Tiefling.
tieflings, yep, they're like uh, almost demon esque beings. They're like a half human, half something from an infernal plane, a demon or a devil. Um, your dwarves, which everyone's familiar with dwarves. There's so many. There's tabaxi, which are cat people. The
Oh, yeah.
Yep, the Aarakocra, which are bird people. Um, yeah,
Birdman.
there's lizard folk, there's snake people, uh, goblins, kobolds, dragonborn, which are like they're humanoid in how they're shaped, but they look like they're covered in dragon scales, essentially.
Mhm.
So there's many different races or species that you can play.
Right. And then you build the backstory, which is just essentially like introduction to the character
Kind of,
and
yeah. So
their
there's
motivations.
yeah, there's background and backstory, which are different. Um,
Okay.
Background is an element in the game itself that gives you extra skills or equipment because of where your character came from, and your
Mhm.
background is the personalized story of your character.
So background is like, say this, okay, between a wizard and a sorcerer, which one has to learn it through books?
Wizard studies, sorcerer is just born with the skills.
Okay. So, like, let's say this wizard had gone to some school for years and ended up gaining XYZ abilities. That would be their background. Their backstory is more of like their parents abandoned them when they were 3 due to a war that was
Yep.
caused by, an enemy tribe or something like that.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. And there are published backgrounds, so that way you can, choose whatever matches your character best, but also gives you the appropriate skills and motivations that you would have for your character.
Sure,
So,
sure.
like the scholar
Okay.
background is an actual background. So then
Okay.
you would gain stuff from that, like for equipment, you gain like ink and parchment or a tome, stuff like that. For skills, you gain like researching skills or knowledge in a specific area, like knowledge of magic, which is called arcana, or knowledge of
Mhm.
religion. Let's say you're a cleric and you were, studying religion, or whatever it may be.
Mhm. Mhm. What would make a really interesting character for you as, like, a DM?
Honestly, it's something that's been well thought out for personality, for background. And I'm not saying I want people to write these, books about their characters or anything like that. That's ridiculous. But just, a plan like how were they raised? Or were they raised even? Because I've played a character that was just their background was an outlander, and they were abandoned as a child and just kind of grew up surviving in the wild. So they weren't really raised. You know, they don't know people. They don't know civilization. They just know nature. So they're gonna
Survival.
exactly. So they're gonna being able to act out what your character's mannerisms would be, having that all planned. Um, that to me is a lot more valuable than someone that's been able to put together, stats wise, some amazing, very powerful character that can, do all kinds of crazy things. It's more fun to have the gameplay because regardless of a singular character's ability, they're not going to be able to get through everything. So they're going to need a team.
Mhm. That's what makes the game fun, I
Mhm.
think, is variety
Exactly.
and
Uh,
just a a large dichotomy of characters and
mhm.
different flavors of what they can do. It kinda
Absolutely.
sucks when everyone's, like, either a paladin or everyone's either a cleric, and then in groups that I've played in the past, there was this one person who picked a bard every single time, and while they were decent at, doing the funny little clown man routine. It kinda got exhausting after a couple of different campaigns just 'cause it's like, "Come on, you can do better."
Oh, absolutely. I've tried to play a character of just about every class, um, and a few homebrew classes. Homebrew
Mm.
for our listeners is, it's not a published class, but it is one that's been peer reviewed by other players, in the space
Mhm.
and balanced so that it does work well within the game, within the rules. It's just, some custom thing that a person has come up with.
All right. And we're back. Um, so we were talking about homebrew classes
Yeah.
and what makes a good character and a good character arc. What would make a good DM compared to a bad DM?
Very good question. Because there are some very good DMs out there, but there's also some pretty bad ones as well. The best DMs that I have had, all have the same thread, which is they create a world for the players to fully explore. And they plan. They have things
Mm-hmm.
ready. They have loot ready. They have quests available. They have all of these things planned ahead of time. Now, whether they write it themselves or they're, following a campaign written in a book, both are good, viable options depending on how the DM plays it. But
Yeah.
and also being animated and connected with your players, that's also just as important. Um, and a bad DM
Not just
generally,
like you walk into a room, you see a door, do you go through it?
yeah, that's like fireball the room. But the
Oh
room is,
man,
I didn't
I think
ask how big the room is. I said fireball.
please play Pitbull anytime that somebody casts Fireball.
Do 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 do.
Yeah.
Fireball.
Oh man, because like when I think of a DM, I haven't actually seen a full episode of Critical Role, but I know who Brennan Lee Mulligan is.
Oh, he's such a
And
good one. He is fantastic.
yeah, I've seen TikToks and clips of him and the quote of his about laws, and I don't even remember how it went, but it was
Yeah,
like
how
that is
laws
someone who
are
is
threats from the ruling class or something like
the
that.
socioeconomic political class or something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like that's a good DM who
Mhm.
knows exactly how to intertwine a really good storytelling and like not just engaging material, but like engaging with reality a little bit too.
Right, right. Being able to take what we're experiencing in real life in some form or another, combine it in with the actual game, and layer it with both realism, comedy, and a little bit of seriousness all together. That really does make a great
Mhm.
DM.
Mhm. 'Cause, like, essentially what you're doing is creating an adventure, not a movie if you're not recording it, but an adventure movie altogether.
Yeah,
And
pretty
in order to
much.
keep an audience engaged, you gotta have all of the elements of really good storytelling.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. And then, like, you said, versus the bad DMs where they don't have descriptions of things, or sometimes they're really good at that, but they're just not prepared. They don't have their dice together, or they don't know the stat blocks of creatures they're going to be encountering, or they didn't prepare rewards or experience or anything. And I've seen that before too, where they show up and they have more questions to the players than the players have to the DM.
Mhm.
And and I think that's most common with people who have only played maybe one or two sessions and think, "Ooh, I can tell stories, let me do this," not realizing the amount of, preparation that has to go in, the amount of, not just writing, but you have to be decent at math and get all of that, done too, because you're given charts, and then it's up to you as the DM to use those charts to create from there. So if you
Yeah.
don't have all of that prep work done before the day even that you're gonna play, it's just gonna result in a bad time for everybody.
Yeah. So, like, you have a chart and it says once you encounter this specific beast that the, you know, party has to defeat, you have a scale of like a roll of 1 to 5 doesn't hit, and then the DM has to decide what happens from there. And then a roll of like 6 to 9 is you hit him, but it doesn't do anything. And then like a 9 to whatever, you know? So yeah, I get the math side
Well,
of that, but no?
it's n no, it's more like creatures, just like players, will have something called an armor class. Um,
Okay.
so that dictates what number on your attack skill plus rolling a d20. Um, so you add those two up, and they have to meet or be larger than the armor class.
Okay.
So let's say their armor class is 15 and you've got a +4 to hit. So then you have to roll, um, an 11 or greater on your 20-sided dice in order to hit. And then your
Okay.
damage is different. But some creatures have, damage reduction for this or vulnerabilities for that or protection from other stuff. And so you have to know all of that as well as what dice you're using. Um, a lot of times you can calculate out, it gives you the options to calculate out a creature's health. So you have to have, roll however many
Okay.
dice it says of what type it says to get up to, the creature's health. Like, let's say it says 6d8. So you roll an 8-sided dice 6 times and add that all up, and then add their constitution modifier, which is their health statistic, to get their total health. And I've seen people even not do these basic things, which is really sad
Can you
because
tell I've
then
never
you sit there
I
for
was gonna s I was gonna say, can you tell I've never DM'd before?
Yes, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. So, you have experience as a DM. What is some of the craziest things that you've seen people do in a campaign?
One of the craziest things I saw someone do in a campaign that I was running, not the craziest thing I've seen happen, but the craziest thing that's happened in a game that I ran. Um, the players came across a red dragon's den. And for those that don't know, red dragon dens tend to be in volcanoes. So there's
Oh.
yeah, yeah. So there's the potential of lava, or with if they're using like explosive spells, there's potential of the volcano erupting. All kinds of dangers on top of this thing. Now, red dragons are not completely immune to certain damages, but they take a lot less damage, we'll say.
Okay.
So what they did was they used a spell that makes a hedge of thorns. Well, the spell is listed out. They did this inside of its cave. And the spell, the way it's written, doesn't have a height limit. So they filled
Okay.
the entire cave with these brambles, and every time it fought through part of the way, they would recast so that it kept having to fight through all of this. And anytime a fire attack was made, it would go up in flames with the fire. They kept doing this crazy stuff over and over. And it's like, I can't do anything with this creature. It's locked in place. And it was supposed to be able to
Oh.
destroy all of them easy. And it could have, with 1 or 2 attacks, it could have wiped the whole board out. But they were really smart and trapped it in a way that they couldn't reach them. And I just thought that was nuts the way they set that up. After that, those players had set up code words, which meant, to combo certain moves or certain spells or abilities from this player and that player, so that they could pull off these crazy moves that one class could not do on its own. They got really tricky and really, really difficult to run, but it was a lot of fun.
That's really creative.
Honestly, creativity will get you a lot farther than brute strength in D&D, uh, because, yes, it does have numbers for everything, but they have numbers for everything. So
You gotta
your only
understand.
limit is your imagination.
Yeah. I mean, truly, if anybody had ever thought of writing a fantasy novel or just having an adventure play out in their mind, they're like, I wonder what would happen if I did this. D&D is like the perfect way to kind of execute that.
Oh, absolutely. And I do have to say this though, there are other role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games that are designed around very specific premises that D&D touches, but you would have to do a lot of building yourself to make work.
Okay. It's D&D's like the main
Yeah, it's
tabletop
like
role-playing game that I've ever heard of.
yeah, it's really the one that started it all.
Okay. It's the OG.
It is,
It's the
and
GOAT.
right, right. Just like Magic the Gathering is the original for like the trading card games as we know them today. D&D is kind of that for role playing.
Okay. Very cool. Um, so that was a campaign that you did run where that happened?
Yes, those
What
players
was the
were so
craziest
hard.
What was the craziest thing that you had seen happen in a game that you were just participating in?
Probably when we were a very small group and we were very low leveled and we came across a vampire. Should have been able to wipe us out with without even actually fighting because of, abilities. He was like can hypnotize and do all this other cool stuff. He wouldn't even had to do anything and wiped us all out, right? The
Mhm.
the DM wanted us to turn and go some other way. He was using that as a method to divert us back into where we were supposed to go. Instead, we decided to straight up kill the thing, and it worked. One of the guys had a bunch of vials of lamp oil, so he started hucking. We surprised the vampire, and he started throwing these glass vials of lamp oil, and then someone else uh, used a spell and targeted the oil, not the vampire, which means the vampire couldn't, try and dodge the attack. He wasn't the target. So the vampire is on fire, burning. And then I have my character decide to run out to help by throwing holy water at him to put him out. Well, that's just another kind of burning. And then we just went back and forth like that, doing, just every weakness that the vampire had, throwing it at him over and over again. And it just didn't have time to stop reeling from the crazy attacks. And we won and kept going in that direction. Uh, it was hilarious. The DM was fuming. He's like,
Burn,
"You're
baby,
not
burn.
supposed to." Ah! Yes, yes. It was great. The other crazy thing is, um, I had a barbarian character, uh, was not raised around civilization at all, uh, and was a musician, was a barbarian, but also a musician, played drums, right? And he had amassed a giant following of homeless people. So
Okay.
it's weird. I don't understand it either. It's just the direction it went. So I was like, whatever, I'll go with it.
Just roll
Um,
with it.
and there was one massive battle, and I had my barbarian playing drums before the battle actually started, as was his thing, and all of this army of homeless people start running out of the forest that we were in to go fight our battles for us. It was weird because, I mean, it was just an army of half-naked, dirty people fighting, like, goblins and demons and all of this nuts things, while this hairy half-orc dude wearing nothing but a loincloth is just standing on a hill pounding bongos. Just imagine that. It's just the craziest thing to envision.
I bet that smelled great.
Oh, Woodstock all over again.
More like
Oh.
Burning Man, I think.
Oh, yeah, that would probably be closer to accurate, yep.
Oh my goodness. The craziest thing that I'd ever witnessed in a D&D campaign that I was a part of, because I've never DM'd, and I've only been a part of like maybe one or two campaigns that actually came to a conclusion, was the bard had somehow enchanted, and I don't want to say what's the word, convinced this velociraptor to be its pet.
Oh, yep, animal friendship kind of a thing. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and it actually came in pretty handy
Oh, I bet,
once or
I bet.
twice. But yeah, I think that's the craziest thing that I remember happening on a campaign, other than this one person was like a notorious pickpocket. I think they were a goblin or some kind of character like that. And they ended up stealing from the wrong person. And so they were chasing after the entire party and ran us out of town.
Oh,
But we survived.
I mean, that's
We had to
fair.
completely abandon the main quest because we were no longer welcome in that city that we were supposed to be, going to find this treasure in,
Sure, sure,
and
sure.
completely derailed the DM. And we're like, well, let's go on this side quest and flesh it out and see what happens.
That's
Because
pretty good.
somebody stole from the wrong guy. But when
See,
it
it's not
comes
illegal
to
if you don't get caught.
exactly. This is not us encouraging any illegal behavior, by the way.
No,
This
this
is
is
all a
in-game
fantasy
only.
role-playing game.
Yes.
Yes. Um, and not that this episode is sponsored or anything like that, but there are some really awesome tools out there to kind of help you create a really good character. Personally, I've used D&D Beyond primarily in the past. It can even like roll the dice for you if you don't have any on hand. But it helps you set up class, race, background,
Mhm.
stats, all those sorts of things. It'll even provide a little bit of artwork to give your character um an avatar so that you know what you look like, at least a little bit. But majority of this information is going to come from the Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook.
Yes, for players, your best bet is to use the player's handbook. Um, Definitely for new players. For more advanced players, there is also, quite a few, published works that add additional classes or playable races, or new
Yeah.
abilities or features for, the classes in the core group or in the core books.
Yeah. And there's so much out there. You just kind of
Yes.
have to go look for it. I mean, I don't have any off the top of my head.
Also, for playing long distance, I would say, Roll20 is also a good option, because it
What's that?
lets you it's a website that lets you, schedule and play, role-playing games remotely while having a map and having your character, having everybody's characters moving on the map. It also rolls for you and will automatically calculate out any damage rolls, skills, anything that you have, um, so that you don't have to do the math side as the player.
That's handy. I didn't know
Mhm.
about that.
Yep, it's a very
uh,
nice little tool.
yeah, it sounds like it. And are we going to be using it for your campaign?
Possibly, I'm trying to see, if it's compatible with the, uh, recording software, so
Gotcha.
we'll go from there. If it is, then most likely, if it is not a compatible thing, um Well, then we'll be playing without a map like a lot of original players did.
Maps are fun though, and I'm a
Yeah.
visual person,
Most
so
are.
I like being able to see where I'm going, what I'm doing, where the other characters are, and
Yep, yep.
I'm
So
excited.
I
I'm
am in
really
the
excited about
process
this.
of figuring out what software we will be able to use, in conjunction with recording.
Okay, great. So to kind of wrap things up, what is something you wish someone had told you before you played your very first game?
The rules. So, my very first role-playing game, I was in junior high, I was just a little kid, um, and some friends were like, "Hey, we're going to do this thing, after school, why don't you come along with?" So, I went, and I get there and they're like, "Here's Nate, he hasn't played before." They hand me a character sheet. I didn't know what it was. It was all filled out and they're like, "Great, this is the finale for this campaign. Here's your character. Read it, learn it, we're gonna start." I was like, "I don't even know what any of this means."
Thanks, guys.
Right? But I did catch on by the end of it, because a lot of the players that were there, were helping me out, like, "Okay, this is what you're supposed to do on your turn. This is what these, terms mean and how this all works," and it was a lot of fun. I've been kinda hooked ever since.
All right.
How about you?
Yeah. That you need to be actively engaged.
Yeah, that is
And
definitely a big thing.
yeah, that you can't just passively be like, well, because my character is a tiefling thief, that doesn't mean that they have to go up and rob everybody. It
Right,
means you have to actually help the party accomplish the goal, you know?
right,
And I feel like if the group that I had learned D&D from had more active participation and engagement with the DM, I think I probably would have been hooked too. But
let's,
yeah, now though, I'm really excited about this because I've got some ideas brewing in there for a really good character and how it's gonna play out.
I can't wait to see. I know I have sent the setting synopsis out to everybody.
Mhm.
I hope that everybody really enjoys the setting that we're gonna start in. Uh, Also, I want to hear a little bit from our audience. What are your favorite classes or races? What's brought you to D&D, or if this is your first introduction, how likely are you to give it a try?
And also, if you have any, like, really interesting stories from past campaigns that you might have played, because we love to hear stories.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, give us everything you got. We'd love to engage with all of our fan base out here.
Absolutely. Well, Nate, it's been nice talking to you.
Sounds great, Kate. It's been a great episode.
Alright. We'll see ya.